This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mousefan Travel, and MEI and Mousefan Travel is the official travel agency of WDW Today. And if you're planning your next trip to Walt Disney World and want to make it easier on yourself, I know you've done it for many years on your own, but really, why keep doing it on your own? Why not have someone else do that work for you? Make it a little bit easier on yourself so you can focus on listening to great podcasts like us, reading up on stuff, figuring out something new and cool and exciting you want to do, and leave the boring stuff like I want to stay at this resort for the great travel agents at MEI and Mousefan Travel, take care of. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Wednesday, October 29th, 2008, and this is episode 481 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. We're Scopoless again today, and joining us is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
I figure it's not a lens back. Scope could take a little vacation.
Exactly.
Must be. And also joining us on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World, which is online at touringplans.com. Welcome, Len.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Outstanding. It's Wednesday, and we get to answer listener questions on Wednesday, and we'll start off with a question from Zach Jones of Fort Payne, Alabama, who writes, "Hey guys, started listening a couple months back and have been regularly downloading past episodes. Here's my question. I'm going to Tampa to visit some family for the weekend after Thanksgiving. No trip to Florida would be complete without at least a few days spent at the world, so my wife and I will be checking into Animal Kingdom Lodge Sunday, November 30th, and we'll have only 2 days for the parks. We already used most of my wife's vacation days for our honeymoon in September. Here's my question. Since we only have Monday and Tuesday to visit the parks, which day would be better to visit Magic Kingdom? The day we don't go to the Magic Kingdom, we're planning on splitting the studios and Animal Kingdom. I know choosing Animal Kingdom over this Epcot is a sin, but we spent a lot of time at Epcot on our last trip. I've given you just under 2 months to answer this, so hopefully that is sufficient. I'd rather get an answer from you than listen for hours on end hoping someone else gets to it. Thanks for all your hard work."
So, Monday's slightly crowded for all slightly more crowded for all Walt Disney parks, World parks, than Tuesday. So I would actually split the Animal Kingdom and the studios on Monday, and I would do Animal Kingdom first and then the studios. And then on Tuesday I would go to the Magic Kingdom. The reason why we're not recommending Magic Kingdom on Tuesday, December 2nd right now is because there's a Mickey's Very Merry Vicky's Merry Very
Vicky's. Really, Victoria's Secret is really going out now.
All right, hold on. Let me.
Duel will be to that one.
Hold up. Okay, I think I'm ready now. The Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party on Tuesday. So I would do Magic Kingdom then, and I would do the Animal Kingdom first, and then the studio second on Monday the 1st.
Awesome. Well, our next email is from Holly from Tennessee, and the subject of the email is, "Len, what are you doing to my daughter?" Holly writes, Len and the other guys, I had to share this picture with you. This is my 3-year-old daughter downing a bottle of maple syrup from the Cracker Barrel. Thanks for your influence.
Send the picture.
I listen to the podcast while I'm driving around town, not really thinking that she cares about what's going on in it until one day, here we are at breakfast. She picks up the bottle and chugs it. Where on earth did she think of that? Len, thanks for the impact you've had on my family's sugar rush and all.
Oh, that's funny.
Corrupting America's youth, Lentas.
Exactly, one podcast at a time. Oh, that's going to be my new tagline. Corrupting America's youth, one podcast at a time. Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys heard this, but Guns N' Roses' Chinese Democracy album comes out after a 17-year wait on November 23rd. And you get free Dr. Pepper on that day, because in March, an executive from Dr. Pepper said that if Chinese Democracy comes out this year, everyone in America will get a free can of soda. So on November 23rd, Dr. Pepper is going to open up a website where you can register for a coupon for a free can of Dr. Pepper. Ooh. Just on one day. Isn't that awesome?
I was pretty excited when AC/DC came out with their new Black Ice album. Free soda.
Free soda, exactly.
Next email is from Jennifer from Watertown, New York. Writes, "Dear Matt, Mike, Len, and Annette, I'm going to the world January 2nd through 9th, 2009. I decided to visit Disney Hollywood Studios on January 2nd. I know you guys said to see Fantasmic first, then see the Osborne Lights, but I plan to see the second show of Fantasmic at 8 p.m., and the park closing is at 8 p.m. Will the lights still be left on for a bit after the second show? My second option is to go to the studios on January 3rd, when there is evening extra magic hours, but I thought January 2nd would be less crowded. Thanks for your help. I love the podcast." The answer to your question is yes, the lights will still be on, even though the park is technically closed. Although if there are two, did you say there's two showings of
Will
Fantasmic?
it really? 'Cause
Yeah. Oh yeah. When what happens is when there's one showing, like we had for those listeners who attended the Fantasmic Saturday Night at the Studios last Mousefest 2007, a lot of us all went after that. So this is after Fantasmic. What happens is they want to have you be able to see Fantasmic and the Osborne Lights on the same night. It should be possible. And the problem is if there's one showing Fantasmic, it's very difficult to see the Osborne Lights because the Osborne might go on at 6, and if there's one showing, usually that means the Fantasmic's at like 7 or 8 o'clock or something like that. So basically, you can still see the show after Fantasmic is done. You have to either leave the park or you can actually go see the Osborne Lights. There is a slight chance it might not be going on if there's some technical problem or anything, but more likely than not, you'll be able to do it. And but if there's two showings of Fantasmic that night, you should still be able to see it. Just go right there for that when they first go on at 6 o'clock. Mingle around. If Fantasmic's not till 8, you can mingle around for an hour there, and then go show up at Fantasmic. You'll still be there an hour early, which will still be kind of overkill, especially for that portion of January. So definitely, you should have no problem with that at all. Next email is from Jason Granner of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Writes, "Hi everyone, this is my second question to you all, which is actually a response to episode 434. I just wanted to mention that when it comes to the deluxe resorts like the Contemporary, what sets them apart from the Polynesian, Grand Floridian, and the Wilderness Lodge is that they are at the first stop on the resort monorail when leaving the Magic Kingdom, and they also have the walkway to and from the Magic Kingdom. Also, when getting on and coming off of Disney Transport buses, they're always the first resort where guests are picked up and dropped off. I bring that up because they share bus service with the Polynesian, Grand Floridian, and sometimes I notice in the mornings they might share with Wilderness Lodge. So this information could be a factor for families with young children who want to spend a lot of time at the Magic Kingdom."
So that's actually a great point, and it's one of the reasons why. Just last week, somebody who wrote in to me and was asking about which Magic Kingdom monorail resort to use, and they had small children like 2 and 3 years old, and I said definitely got to go with the Contemporary because of that. Because of that specific thing. The kids didn't really care about the theme or the decor, and the parents said that that they weren't specifically interested in it either, but had heard good things about the new rooms. So for that reason, I recommended the Contemporary. It was a quick walk. They definitely said that waiting for a monorail was not in the cards for them. I like the Contemporary's new rooms. I like them quite a bit. When Hannah and I were heading back on our last trip from the Magic Kingdom to All-Star Resorts, I can tell you that rather than waiting on that bus at 12:30, we actually didn't get back until like 1:10 in the morning. I would much rather have had to walk to the Contemporary. I think that would have been a much better way to go. So
nice. Next email is from Dennis from Indianapolis, also known as D. Dindy on WDWToday.com. Hoorah!
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 Mangello guys, a special hello to the fabulous Annette, if present. I've been listening to the podcast for just over 1 year, and by the time you read this, I'll have caught up with all the past episodes. When I hear and see all the great work you put all into the podcast, your websites, blogs, and books, I wonder how you can find the time for or even bother with a day job. It sure makes my day job go a lot quicker, so thank you. Here's my question. I recently stayed on-site for the first time, and we're happy to learn that my room key also opened the gate to the resort's parking lot, so I didn't have to justify my presence to the guard. I didn't visit any other resorts at that time, but for my next trip, I would like to know if my key will open the gates at all the resorts or just the ones I'm staying at. For example, can I use my Scopa Towers room key to open the gate at the Yacht Club?
Nope.
Yeah,
so it's
I got
it's coded specifically for the resort that you're at. If you notice on your room key, there's a long string of like 20 digits. A couple of those, 2 or 3 of those digits represent the resort that you're staying at, and that information is also coded on the magnetic strip on the back of your card. So no dice there. Although, if you did want to visit other resorts, there's certainly nothing that's stopping you from going to a theme park and then getting on the bus for that particular resort, which would get you past the security guards.
Perfect.
I'm assuming you just want to go to look around, not to wreak havoc and throw Molotov cocktails at the Bourgeois or anything like that. So, all right.
Like Len does.
Yeah, like I do, because that's what I do actually, and I don't need anyone coming in on my game.
Next email is from Kristen from New York. He writes, "Hi, Matt, Mike, Len, and Annette, wherever you may be. I have a question for you. Why is there 7 must-sees and not 10? Not any other standard countdown number? I've always found it strange, but assumed that it's because it's Disney. There must be some hidden meaning behind the number 7. I thought maybe one of you can help me out, as this has been keeping me up at nights." Well, actually, just kidding about that.
So the closest thing we came to consensus on WDW today, the show notes when we asked this question a while ago, was that there were 7 wonders of the ancient world and supposedly 7 wonders of the modern world. So Disney had to have their own 7 wonders of Walt Disney World.
Right. Plus, there's 4 parks, 2 water parks, and Downtown Disney, so that's 7. But yeah, I think that's what it is, Len. I think they were playing on the wonders of the world.
You're reading a little bit into the numerology there, but okay.
And as Stacy said in the video, top 7. What are they getting? It's like top 100 or something like that.
Exactly.
That's almost a dead-on impression.
Yeah, I really try. I practice it in the show.
I almost thought she was here.
I watched. I actually watched one entire loop when I was there over the weekend, just to watch it one more time because I know they're going to change it. So.
Next email is from Artie, I guess. You got to write your names in your emails, folks. Don't forget. Who writes about the traffic lights in Orlando. The way the left turns are configured at these major intersections actually make a lot of sense when you look at it from a traffic management system. You mentioned during the podcast that occasionally at some intersections the left turn signal appears at the end of the green light cycle. This is the case at intersections where the period of left turn signals are split into 2. For example, your left turn signal may have been at the end of the cycle, but those in the beginning and the oncoming lanes would receive their half of this cycle at the beginning. This is done to extend and maximize the amount of time for the green light for those going straight through the intersection, lessen the amount of time for those waiting at the red light, and not increase the total overall cycle time for all the directions.
That's actually a very astute observation. That they do occasionally work differently in Orlando.
I'm used to it where when you get to a light and you're at a red light, the first thing that happens is the turn lanes go, and then the regular lanes go, and they leave the option of the turn. The left turn, you have to yield to oncoming traffic, obviously, but it'll allow you to do it. And here you can't do that, so that bothers me.
I find that the police lights on top of my car let me go through any red light that I
Exactly. That's for that same reason. I actually rent an old ambulance. It's there's a special discount code on Mouse Savers. You have to enter it into the dollar.com website.
Next email is from Jen in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, who writes, "Hi, I'm Matt, Len, Newell, Scopa, or Scope, as they called you this week, since you're no longer allowed to be Italian and must remove the vowel from your last name." Boy, that's an old episode. And hello to Annette, if she's there. My partner and I are planning a trip to the world for 2 weeks in June of 2009 with our 3 sons, who will be 12, 13, and 14 at the time, as well as my parents and my brother. While on our trip, my brother will be celebrating his 35th birthday. Being that we all live in Pennsylvania, but my brother resides in Colorado, and we don't ever really get to celebrate his birthday with him, we would like to plan a really good birthday surprise celebration for him. From what I've read, we'll need to be sure to pick a birthday button at City Hall on Main Street in the Magic Kingdom. However, aside from that, what are your best suggestions for an adult birthday celebration? We're a family that enjoys fine dining. Both my brother and my partner are or have been chefs, but I'm not sure which route is best. We've heard about the chef's table at Victoria and Albert's, but this would be an extremely pricey celebration for all 8 of us. We've read about the California Grill for dinner and wishes fireworks at the Magic Kingdom, and I've recently read about the pontoon boat so that you can rent at Epcot to watch illuminations. If all of you were to say what you prefer to do for your birthday celebration at the World, what would it be and in which park?
Mr. Noel?
I'm thinking about a nice dinner someplace. Wow, that's a tough one. I would love to have a nice steak dinner somewhere for my birthday.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, they mentioned, obviously Victoria and Albert's is very pricey, but a less pricey, relatively speaking, Yachtsman Steakhouse.
Yeah, I would say Yachtsman. I wouldn't feel comfortable at Victoria and Albert, so I'm more comfortable at Yachtsman or even Don Schuler's at the Swan and Dolphin.
You know what really gets me if I want to really celebrate a special occasion, more so than a meal or a tour or anything like that, I think those things are fun and all, but they're very short. I mean, they're only for an hour or 2. What's that, Mike?
Massage?
No. But even that only lasts for a little bit. What I would say is actually upgrade to a really nice resort. A resort you can really be excited to stay at. Usually, people usually accommodate. That's usually a deluxe resort in most people's estimation. But that allows you for something that'll be happening for the entire trip. Something that will, every single day you'll be able to really enjoy that. And I know that when I stay at a deluxe resort in the past, I mean, it's always been like I'm excited to go back to the room. You know what I mean? And it's like the same thing like we did, Newell, when we did the All-Star Vacation Home. Same thing. Right. Being excited about going back there. So it's kind of like the birthday gift that keeps giving in terms of that the entire trip. I
would say not only a deluxe room, but concierge access.
Oh yeah.
Concierge access is if you've got the money, and I know it's frivolous, and I know it's not if you do the dollar cost if you look at it just purely from a financial perspective, it doesn't make sense. But again, there are times when you're traveling with kids where the last thing you want to do is schlep down to some counter service restaurant, even if it's in the same hotel, just to get a couple of cookies and some water. Where I felt perfectly comfortable letting Hannah run down to the concierge, at the beach club or whatever, grabbing something and coming back by herself. And I think that's, you talk about a treat that keeps on giving, or for the entire stay that you're there. I think concierge access is the way to go. And even if you can't afford it at a deluxe, don't forget that Coronado Springs will have concierge access now pretty soon as well.
Great. Next email is from Paul Lally, who writes, Matt, Mike.
Oh, Paul. Hey, how's it going?
Who writes, have any of you ever done the Sunday Gospel Brunch at the House of Blues in downtown Disney? Any opinions on it? Is it worth the $35 cost? About how long does it last? My friend and I are planning to going to it for a January 2009 trip, and I know next to nothing about it other than the 2-sentence description on All Ears Net.
So Bob has actually done it. Bob's a big fan of live music, and if I recall correctly, he liked it quite a bit. It was certainly, on a scale of 1 to 10, higher than a 5. And I believe the House of Blues rates higher than average in terms of food in the unofficial guide as well. So I would think that would be something that would be worth doing. Newell, a second ago you just mentioned Victoria and Albert's. We've got to do that. And
Really?
The other thing we have to do is House of Blues, because I think
love to do House of Blues.
I think we might have to do that we just might have to make a special trip and just be done with it.
Sounds good.
But yeah, Paul. So Paul, do it and let us know. Let us know how it works. If it completely sucks, I'll buy your dinner or your brunch.
I've heard some good things about it, so I think if you're interested in hearing gospel music, I think you might really enjoy it. Next email is from Jen from England.
I just see the Blues Brothers thing.
Jen writes, love the show. My first visit to the world was in 1989 when I was 3 years old, and my family and I have been regular visiting since. I remember when I was a child, when we would be leaving the parks at the end of the night, I would always ask my dad how they knew everyone had left the parks. His answer was always, they just know. And I was never satisfied with that answer. So I'll ask you guys.
They're using the Force? What?
I'll ask you guys, how does Disney know when all the guests have left the park? I know when you enter the park, they count everyone in using the turnstiles, but still people in the strollers aren't always accurately accounted for. Right. But at the end of the night, they just open the gates so people will just walk out and aren't counted. Does Disney do a thorough sweep of the park looking for guests who may be hiding theoretically? Could you hide in the park for the night if you found a good hiding place, hiding in a bush or something? Wow, Jen, this is like Lens.
This is something that I ask myself every single time. I mean, and I'm going to do it.
My feet up.
I'm going to do it one time. I'm going to do it and see what happens. I've actually gone so far as to look. All right. So I'll tell you this because I know what Disney will be looking for me now. On Tom Sawyer Island, there's a dock that used to be used, I guess, for the Davy Crockett canoes.
Answering the question, but yes, go ahead.
And I've actually looked at what it would take in terms of snorkel gear to kind of slip off that dock and into the water.
Does the word absurd mean anything to you?
And just kind of linger there until nightfall. Now, the only thing that's really kept me from doing that is the fact that I've actually seen alligators in the rivers of America, and that might not be a good way to die. So, but I'm thinking that Disney's got to have like infrared sensors. People have tried this before.
Yeah.
Stupid. Good.
Yeah, I was to say. I mean, they have the cameras, obviously, and I think the cast members really do a good job of sweeping through their areas, whatever they're responsible for. Because think about it. I mean, while everyone goes through, the cast members responsible for an attraction sweeps through that. They sweep through restaurants, whoever cast members are there, and really, I mean, that really only leaves like trash cans and pathways. But I really think you'd be hard pressed to.
But don't they also have a third shift where they do maintenance in the middle of the night, and someone's bound to see you?
Yeah, it'd be really, unless you really want to sit in a garbage can the entire time. I mean, and even in garbage can, the maintenance people are going to come and take the garbage out. So,
exactly.
I mean, wherever place you're going to be, it's not like it's going to be like, okay, and it's like some sort of like, kids dream about being locked in a toy store. You don't get to go, turn Space Mountain on and go ride it, because really you'd be spending the entire night sitting, in whatever water lurch you've been sitting in. Yeah, exactly. That too.
Yeah.
Next email is from Jay from McFarland, Wisconsin. Writes, hello, Annette, and you other guys. Allow Allow me a moment to kneel before the altar of the WDW today and say how much I enjoy the show. You really do a great job of keeping the magic alive during those cold months between visits to the world. I have an interesting tale my wife likes to tell in regards to how her childhood visits to Walt Disney World and wonder how Disney handles such situations these days. She reflects that back in the 1980s, her family would stay at the Magic Kingdom until closing, take the ferry back to their car, and then rather than leaving with all the other traffic, her dad would make everyone go to sleep in the car, adults included, before starting the long drive home. I'm not sure how long this forced napping would last, but it does lead me to my question. What is Disney's policy regarding how long you can have your car in the parking lot after closing? Is there a certain time when they shout everyone out of the pool, or are cars allowed in the lot overnight? Just curious if this same catnap philosophy could be used today. Thanks for your help. Can't wait for your next show.
Yeah, really. I don't think they let the cars stay overnight. My guess is they would be towed for safety concerns.
I don't know. I think they would.
You think?
I don't know. I think one day, there's always someone. Like, what if someone drinks too much and has one of the, takes the bus home or something like that?
I left my car overnight in Epcot.
And you came back and it was there?
Yeah. The next day, yeah.
I think if you left it there for a week,
I could be wrong. Okay, I could totally be wrong. That's fine.
Yeah. I don't see Disney as the kind of people. I said this before. Disney's not going to go tow your car for a little bit. I mean, obviously, if you leave there for a while, they're going to tow your car. But I think for a little thing like leaving it overnight, I think people have done it before, and I don't think it would be again until it becomes an issue, for which would be a couple of days. That's my opinion on it, at least. Next email is from Julie, who writes, I was wondering if you had heard anything about Walt Disney's fifth theme park entitled the Night Kingdom. Do you know where this park will be located? Do you know what type of attractions will be in the park? I also heard that this park will be building more resorts. Are there specific resorts or specific theme resorts that you would like to see built? Thanks so much.
Last I heard it was canceled, so okay,
yeah.
I'm going to hear differently.
No, I had heard also that. I heard it's dead and gone. I can't really comment too much on it, but it's dead, Jim.
It's dead, Jim, dead.
So, yeah, don't worry about that rumor anymore. I think the economy and everything kind of killed that. Next email is from Tony Rigatoni. All right, hey guys, I love your show. One of you guys talks way too fast. I had to keep backing up the podcast and listening over and over and over to keep up. Good info, but slow down a little. I think he means you, Newell. Anyway, here's my question. Yeah. My crazy aunt, girlfriend, and I will be going to Walt Disney World in January, and I was wondering what's the best way to get to the drugstore items while staying on property. Oh, this is a perfect question for Newell. For example, my girlfriend is a world-class nail technician, and if she runs out of her favorite nail polish color, she gets grumpy if her nails don't match her outfit. Capiche?
Was he from Brooklyn?
What?
Well, his name is Tony Rigatoni. Come on.
Tony from Brooklyn.
What's
the question?
How do you get drugstore items while staying on property?
If he has a car, you drive to the CVS or something like that. That's the only thing. They're not going to. Turner Drugs will deliver drugs to you, but they're not going to deliver.
Yeah, I mean, Disney World has some things on property. I mean, they'll have very limited things. I can't think of the last place I saw nail polish though.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, I think your best bet in that case is take a cab. Call a cab, have them bring you to.
Well, with the grocer, what's the grocery store that delivers?
Which one? The online one?
Yeah, online grocers that deliver. They would drop that off, right?
If they sell it.
Nail polish. I don't know if they sell nail polish and stuff
like
that.
I'm sure.
Okay, well, there you go. That could be another option. I would say the easiest option would be to take a cab. If it,
then that
would be it. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Next email is from Ted from Massapequa, Long Island, New York. All right, so guys, I'm planning to visit the world in May 2009. I've been listening a long time, so I'm hoping that I'm giving you enough time to answer. Our last two trips, we stayed at the Polynesian and Animal Kingdom Lodge Concierge. Love them both. We are going, we would say at either again in a heartbeat, but here's our issue. My boys are going to be 12 and 14. In a perfect world, my wife and I would like to have our own room. We at least want the boys to have their own bed. I'm too much of a snob to do something like getting 2 rooms at a value resort. I like to have resort amenities such as dining and activities. Are there any Disney resorts with the suites? What are our options?
Are there any resorts with this? With what suites?
Are there any? I guess he's looking for an option there, given what he's looking for, or if there are any Disney resorts with suites. Well, I can think of some. Newell, I mean, I know you're very familiar with it. Obviously, staying at one of the DVC resorts where you have like a 2-bedroom or Grand Villa or something like that. I think a 2-bedroom might actually be good. I mean, that would give you one room for you and your wife, Ted, and you can get a room that has 2 separate beds for your kids.
Yeah, you can do that, or they can get a 1-bedroom with the pull-out couch.
Oh yeah, that's also true. I mean, well, the problem with the pull-out couch is that he wants a separate bed for each kid.
Oh, then you need the 2-bedroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
What
that's
about
probably
the family suites at All-Star?
I was just gonna say, yeah.
That's
Okay.
true. Also, yeah. I mean, that'd be a much more economical option over there.
That might be the way to go.
Yeah. The other thing, I'll throw it out there, and it might sound like a broken record. Vacation home. I know.
So I did a tour of a vacation condo actually, this last Monday, and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It was a shared sort of Jack and Jill bathroom thing, full kitchen, dining room, small screened-in porch. It was fabulous. $159 a night, 3 bedrooms. Can't beat it.
No, that's why I love it so much. You get so much for your money, really, especially compared to Disney World. Whew.
Yeah, and it was literally 3 miles from the I-4 exit to the Animal Kingdom. I actually went directly from the condo to the airport, but it would have been 10 minutes to the Animal Kingdom from there. Yeah, it was totally for that kind of money. I would say your first choice is to look at a vacation home or a vacation condo first.
By the way, Newell, you're not allowed to stay in a vacation home during Mouse Fest because otherwise we'll never see you at any of the meets.
I'd never go.
Yeah, whatever.
I'd stay in the house the whole time.
That's right. All right, it's time for our last question of the night, and of course that means that Mike Newell gets to pick the last question. So, Mike, you've got. Ooh, this is. I read it wrong. But anyway, first option is favorite out-of-the-way photo op spots. Second question is Mouse Fest impact. And third option is thanks to the crew.
Thanks for the memory.
I could use a little love, so thanks to the crew.
All right. This comes from Chuck, a.k.a. Sorta Grumpy at W2WToday.com. Hoorah! All right. Family just returned from a great 5-day, 4-night trip at Scopa Towers, and I just wanted to pass along my many thanks to the WDW Today crew. I soaked up your knowledge drops like sponge over the last year, and I utilized it throughout our trip. The family was amazed as I led them through shortcuts to dining locations, to viewing locations, and the pièce de résistance, a sunset ride in the driver's cab of the monorail. We even managed 3 parks in one day, albeit only a quick Main Street stroll and nightcap TTA ride on the third. I chose not to rent a car, and I was not sorry. The Magical Express was flawless. We carried on our luggage, and we were at the Pop Century within an hour from hitting the ground at Orlando. We also used the internal bus system. Except for one older female bus driver who took forever to load an ECV and drove equally slow, it was also flawless. I realized we may have just lucked out, just as we did with the weather, no rain, but I was glad to get in a cool bus, not a 150-degree rental car. Oh, and one last thing I had to pass along. We ate at Le Cellier. The food was fine. However, the service was horrible. If we were not on the dining plan, we would have walked out. It ruined the entire experience. We were not the only ones. There were a lot of unhappy people looking at it in there. I won't be going back there and certainly would not be paying out of pocket for it. Thanks again for sharing your combined knowledge.
Really?
P.S. After a half day of my Scopa said this, Scopa recommends that comments, the family started asking, did Scopa tell you that they even think that they may have found Secret Illuminations viewing spot? The Legend of Scopa is alive and well on Long Island.
Nice.
That's interesting about Le Cellier, though. It's kind of concerning. I hope it was just a momentary thing, and Disney isn't trying to kind of rest on their laurels and say, well, the place is popular, let's, dumb it down a little bit.
Yeah, I would hope that that's not the case.
Yeah,
it sounds like more problems with the dining plan. Everybody that seems to be on the dining plan are complaining about the same thing.
Yeah, that's entirely possible, yeah.
It's too bad. Well, glad the rest of the trip, Chuck's trip, worked out. Don't forget that this episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, the official travel agency of WDW Today. And if you're looking to plan your next trip to Walt Disney World and want to have some help with it, maybe you're looking for some assistance in trying something new, the great travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, like Colleen, Annette, so many more over there. There's another Annette. They'll help you out over there, so definitely give them a shot. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com. And that's it for us today. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at www.wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Sofa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.